What is the economy? It begins in silence. The sun rises over cities and villages across the world. A farmer waters her crops in Kenya. A trader monitors markets in New York. A mother walks her child to school in Vietnam. Different lives, different cultures, but one invisible thread connects them all. The economy. Ethan Myers, 35, walks through the concrete jungle of Manhattan in a sharp suit, but with a blank stare. He spent a decade working in finance, reading reports, calculating risk, chasing bonuses. And yet, the more he earns, the more he feels empty, like a player in a game where he doesn't know the rules. That weekend, while walking through Central Park, he stumbles upon a small group listening to Dr. Rachel Morgan, a retired economist. She speaks not with jargon, but with clarity. You are part of the economy every single day, she says. But do you even know what that means? The question haunts Ethan. He approaches Rachel, hungry for answers. She smiles knowingly. To understand how money moves, she says, you must first understand how people move. Come, let me show you how the world works. Their journey begins in Mesopotamia, reimagined in flashback, the birthplace of organized trade. Here, Ethan learns that before money, there was barter. Goods for goods, trust for trust. Communities flourished by exchanging what they had for what they lacked. The economy wasn't separate from life, it was life. They jump forward to ancient Greece and Rome, where currency, markets, and taxation became formalized. The economy grew not just in size, but in structure. Governments took control. Wars were fought over resources. Slavery became economic fuel. This is where power and money merged, Rachel explains. The birth of central authority over economic life. Next, medieval Europe. Ethan watches as artisans join guilds, peasants pay taxes in grain, and banking begins in Italian cities. In Florence, the Medici family invents double-entry bookkeeping. For the first time, numbers represent trust, and credit becomes more powerful than cash. This was the birth of modern finance. They time travel into the Industrial Revolution, where smokestacks rise and child labor fills factories. Steam, steel, and sweat become the currency of growth. But so does inequality. In Manchester, Rachel shares the work of Arnold Toynbee, the first to merge economic data with historical storytelling. He believed numbers alone couldn't explain the human cost, she says. History gives economics its soul. Ethan sees Adam Smith writing The Wealth of Nations, laying the foundation for capitalism. He sees Karl Marx countering with Das Kapital, exposing its flaws. Then John Maynard Keynes emerges during the Great Depression, reshaping economic policy by advocating government intervention. These thinkers don't just analyze economies, they influence nations. They explore real-world systems. In Cuba, a command economy struggles under state control. In Sweden, Ethan learns how a mixed economy balances capitalism with strong public welfare. In the US, he sees market forces drive innovation, but also deepen inequality. Rachel explains how no two economies are the same. Each one reflects its culture, its resources, its people's values. Then come the numbers: GDP, inflation, unemployment, trade balance. But Rachel refuses to let them become cold. She introduces Ethan to a Detroit mechanic whose job vanished after globalization. A teacher in Harlem trying to explain credit scores. A mother in India using microloans to build a tailoring business. These aren't statistics, she says. They're stories. The economy lives through them. The tone darkens as they revisit the 2008 financial crisis. A dramatized sequence shows the collapse of Lehman Brothers, the panic on Wall Street, and families evicted from their homes. This, Rachel says, is what happens when we forget the human side of money. Fast forward to COVID-19. Supply chains break, markets crash, but digital economies rise. The economy is no longer just local, it's planetary. Next, Ethan studies the schools of thought. Keynesians who say spend in bad times, save in good. Austrians who preach liberty and caution. Chicago school economists who trust markets above all. Marxists who see exploitation at the center of the system. He learns that economics is not just a science, it's a story of belief. Each model is a lens to interpret how societies rise, fall, and recover. In the final act, Ethan stands in Silicon Valley, where code creates value faster than coal ever could. The economy is evolving again into automation, data, and artificial intelligence. But he sees the same questions return. Who owns the capital? Who controls the labor? Who benefits? A year passes. Ethan no longer wears a suit. He's traded boardrooms for classrooms, launching the economy for everyone. A free education initiative that teaches people how their daily decisions ripple through a global system. He teaches kids how money flows, workers how to read economic signals, and families how to build wealth with understanding. In the final scene, he stands in front of a whiteboard drawing simple diagrams. Supply and demand, the circular flow, the role of government, the cycle of history. Rachel watches from the back, her eyes filled with quiet pride. The voiceover returns. The economy is not something that happens to you. It is something you are part of. Every dollar you spend, every hour you work, every resource you use, you shape the world. Understanding it doesn't just change your bank account. It changes your life. Moral of the story. The economy is not about money. It's about people, systems, decisions, and values. When you understand its history, you stop living in confusion. You start creating your future. The economy isn't above you. It's made by you.